are rolling. We're looking good. You have to smile.
Hello, this is J.B. Simons, and we're on chapter 14 called Self-Succession Planning. Now, I've had more questions or query as to what the heck that means from multiple people, and I'll just share one of the stories that's not in the book, it's in my life, that a senior executive of IBM saw the advertisement for the book at the airport. She downloaded it, actually ordered it, got through it to chapter 14, and she called me. She said, I don't understand what self-succession planning is. I said, well, where do you want to be 5 years from now? She said, oh, I'm not sure. I said, okay. If you're not planning on where you want to be 5 years from now, you'll probably end up someplace else because you're not going to be static. Something's going to happen. So the process of self-succession planning is you deciding where you want to be and what it takes in order to get there. You might want to go back to the goal setting chapter on this one. For years, I have helped companies in the world of succession planning. I'm currently working with a church, as a matter of fact, that the senior pastor wants to retire in a couple of years, and we're working on a successor for that particular position and what to do with it and what the environment, how it's going to be impacted by that process of a new leader coming in. In the world of business, dozens and dozens of boomers are migrating out to retirement or to other fields, and so there needs to be a succession planning. Every single position in your organization needs to have a look at who's going to succeed me. And in the process of succession planning also, it is a high form of delegation. One of the greatest things you want to hear in the world of delegation is you want someone to say to you, I want your job and I still want you to be my boss. What that simply means is I want to push you up into a higher position because I want that position. I want you to train or mentor me or teach me how to do that position so you can move up into a higher place because I still want you to be my boss. One of the greatest gifts you can ever receive is asking someone who's your favorite boss or supervisor you've ever had, and someone uses your name. That is ideal in terms of I have been successful at moving myself into a new succession of life and purpose. So in the world of succession planning, and the worksheet that's associated with that is that it says, the time a new why came into my life. Name the time a new why came into my life, okay? That why can be a person, that why can be a type of activity. It could be a new career. If you look at my bio, which I'm not going to bore you with, I have done a lot of things. And not everything I've done is not on that bio, but some of the significant things in terms of where I have been, where my life has been. And I have chosen, except for one, every one of those steps or successions in my life. The one I didn't choose was chosen for me when I was stationed in Kingsville, Texas. I was trained in the Navy as a Navy corpsman or medic and also as a dental tech, so I did both. Every other day I worked in the medical department, every other day I worked in the dental department. I had put in for Vietnam. I was a fifth generation military, and I got orders to a big ship someplace in the North Atlantic, and one of the chief says, I thought you put in for Vietnam. I did, first, second, third choice. He was very complimentary about my skills, and he said, I'll be back in a minute. Came back about an hour and said, you've been recruited. So this is not my succession plan. This was someone else's recruiting me to someplace else. 3 weeks later, I was in Coronado going through BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition for SEALs, SEAL Team training. 4.5 months later, I was the doc for SEAL Team 1 and did 3 tours in Vietnam. So in my life, that's about the only time that I wasn't involved in my succession planning. It helped obviously give me some mental and physical and spiritual elements that I've carried with me most of my life now. one of which I'll tell you right now is clarification. Anytime we're going to go on an op, a corpsman goes with the op, whether it's a 4-man, 6-man, 10-man, there's a doc, okay? And so periodically I would say, I'm unclear as to my responsibility on this op. There was never any, oh gosh, what's he going to do now? What's the problem? It stopped immediately and said, what do you need, doc? And within a minute or two, I was clarified about where and what and when and how my contribution of this particular operation is going to be. I take that forward, and one of the things I would encourage you to ask yourself and others, because asking for clarification is not a threatening question. Being asked, do you understand, is somewhat of a threatening question. Talk to children, talk to teachers, I share this with them, is that a teacher that says, do you understand? Yeah, I can tell you some things that they're not telling you the truth, they just want you to go away. They don't understand, but they don't have the authority to say, I don't understand. So if the teacher, that's what I've taught, explains to the kids that if you're not clear on something, okay, it's my responsibility to fix that. So that if you're unclear, you have the right to raise your hand and say, I need some clarification on that particular point. And it's my job as a teacher to make that happen. You're not stupid, you're not dumb, it's not a fact you don't understand something. I haven't made it clear. And dozens of hands start popping up because they realize they've been empowered to ask for clarification, and the teacher then responds appropriately by helping make things clear. And other kids are going, oh, thank goodness, I thought I was the only one. Same thing is true in business. Same thing is true in a marriage or relationship. When someone says or does something, you have the authority to ask for clarification. What's that got to do with self-succession planning? If you're not clear as to why, getting back to why, you want this next step in your life to be. It requires some goal-setting exercises. It requires asking yourself, what are the clarifications that you're looking for, okay? And that hopefully you will be successful in achieving that particular next pace in your life. I'll go back to my IBM lady. We worked together for almost 2 years. She has now been elevated to another position. I won't give that away what it is, but it has to do with Watson, okay? And that she is very happy with that. And this is the person that asked me, what does this mean about succession planning? We worked together for 2 years, helping to understand. And when she was telling me what the new position was with a lot more money, I said, well, it seems like you now understand personal succession planning. And she was startled by said, by golly, I do. This is J.B. Simons. I wish you well in succession planning for yourself. That was my phone.
It sounds great.
We're down to the last one, kid.